We're trying to put that here, we should have started 5 minutes ago, so sorry. Okay. Sorry, I don't know why that hang out. Alright, welcome to meeting. You get me, Hallie, and Jackie today, but we're gonna have fun. So, 2 birthdays. The dog park is an agent out of our Somerset office. This is on the 14th. Stephanie Johnson, Kelly Wyatt, Heather Skelton, and Houston Byers. On the 23rd, we've got some birthday twins. This month. June work anniversaries. Alan Douglas has been here for 9 years. Lisa Sosa for 6. Happy anniversary, Lisa. 6 years already. Lisa. Brianna 1 year. And then Luke Greer, Sean Hildebrand, Grace Mattingly, Elizabeth Isabel Ray, Kate Fugit, and Cody Fletcher for a year. Your anniversaries. That's exciting. Go home. Bucket bills. Who's got some bucket bills? I will hold the Joseph tradition and not move on to the next.
I have a bucket bill
Go word.
for Lexi and for Hallie and for Jackie, and I'm sorry, but Joseph's included in that in helping me with all my questions as I go as a solo agent.
Yes. Heather has moved from a team agent to solo advisor. Yes.
And I've had lots of weird questions for you guys, so thank you.
That's just exciting. It's not good.
It feels weird.
What other bucket bills? That's 1. I need 2 more.
I gotta go for Lexi.
Oh,
Lexi keeps me running around here, so.
thank you for our cereal too.
Well, that was how.
That was Hallie.
Yeah. There you go. Cold cereal is the bomb.
I will technically take that as 3 since we had another one for Hallie, but anybody else have a bucket bill? Anybody else want to get in on it? Okay.
Makes you feel
We'll
good.
take it.
Hey, next month I'm gonna start, or next week maybe, I'm gonna start bucket bills on agents who submit their command request for their commission request within 24 hours.
Yes.
I'm gonna start highlighting all my
That's a good.
good agents there.
That's a good one.
That
Okay. We're gonna do tech tip. I don't necessarily know if this is like a tech tip, but it's something that I wanted to show you guys, and we're gonna call it a tech tip. So, how many of you guys have been in your design applet in Command? 1 of you, 2 of you. Yay, design applet. Okay, so.
how it works, I don't know.
Wait a minute, I may have said good about something that I didn't.
I just want to get up here. What I'm gonna show you is we're gonna go into the designs applet. And unfortunately, there's not like a way to like click in and view templates other than hitting create. So we're gonna hit create design and print. For the purpose of I'm just trying to get us into our template, library template, which looks like this, which this is going to be my segue into starting Q3 of this year. This will look different than this. Because Q3 of 2025 is when our Canva partnership happens between KW and Canva. There are still not a ton of details on exactly what that's gonna look like. There was a really good video that I think Tara posted it in our Facebook group. I should have brought that up. Actually, let me see if I can put it in there. I don't think it was good to get in there. Okay. We'll highlight it on the social media page again. But what it sounds like, and again, this is going to be subject to change because we don't have all of the information. But it sounds like every KW agent is gonna get Canva Pro for free as being a KW agent, you will get Canva Pro. And then where you're seeing this, feed into, I can't remember what this company is called, but this will become Canva or a version of Canva. Canva is going to create KW designs, so listing templates, under contract, open house, like all of that kind of stuff via Canva. Is going to be what you guys are gonna see right now. So super excited about that for those of you that aren't in Canva a lot and have been in here, you will feel a noticeable difference of ease when you get in here. Okay. So that's kind of like my super exciting, if you didn't already know, announcement. I'm super excited for it. Canva is by far better than so super excited. It will also, for those of you that have never used Canva Pro, you will be wondering why you didn't use it before once you get it. So The key for that is gonna be, my assumption is you logging into Canva under your KW email. Is what's gonna get you that pro access, if that is indeed what happens. So if you have Canva Pro and you're using it through like a personal non-KW email, just be aware of that, that's gonna happen. There will be ways to get your designs from your personal account over into your professional account, if that's what we wanna do. Just gonna take a little bit of effort.
I already have the problem in my PW.
Perfect, so it should, we'll get more information on that, it might be one of those things that you stop your subscription. The last month of Q2, so that Q3 it just moves into the pro. I don't know if they're just gonna automatically move any, get any emails that are pro, they're like automatically gonna, I don't know. We will hopefully learn more as we get closer to that Q3 launch. But in here, I wanted to show you a couple different things. So first of all, in your assets folder up here, if you click from company assets to my assets. If you don't already have your headshot loaded into the image, any other images that you use a ton, so usually just headshots for that type of thing. You don't already have your logo and the KW Commonwealth logo loaded into the logos. And then in the text spot, you really should have different pieces in here, with your like first name, last name, address, and all of those kinds of things. Because it makes the design process here so much easier if we have all of these assets in here. If you have questions on the assets and how to fill those in, let me know. So, like, all of these things in this design get easier if your assets are filled in.
Michael was just asking, is that where you put your bio, or is that in the command?
So it's, I think it's separate from what you're asking, I think you're asking about the marketing profile.
That's what I was thinking.
This is separate, this is your asset for the design. So like one of the things that I highly suggest is you come in, create a, I usually do other, name it full name. And then put your full name, first and last name in here. And then you should have, oh my gosh, I cannot type. And then you should do, like, your phone number should be in here. And then you should do your email, those at the very least, if not like the full address. And all of that kind of stuff. And the biggest thing for this is when we come into. Oh lordy. When you come into your templates, and let's say we're looking at. Not. Let's see. When you're looking at, we'll just use this one for now. When you come into this design, see where it says like yourwebsite.com, your email at kw.com. If I click on that and I have the blue line around it, and then I go into text in my assets where I've got this information, all I have to do to get my email in there is swap it in. Hit this little arrow rounded thing and it pops it right in there. Like now I'm on phone number, same thing. And now it's just in one click, it's changed all of those pieces of information. And then like same with headshot, so we click on headshot, we go to images, we go to my assets. I click this little rounded thing, boom, it pops my image right in there. So it just makes that process of those pieces of information that are always gonna be in there, you're always gonna be popping that in, just makes that faster of popping in there. But what I wanted to show you guys today is an activity book. But this is not showing. This the way that I want to show you. Let's see. Here we go. Okay, so this is your Canva, or not Canva, your command designs kind of library. So if you guys didn't know, there's a ton in here. For example, if you scroll all the way down to the bottom, there's holiday social graphics, email graphics, story graphics for like every single holiday and every single month that you could even think of. Super easy to make. I swap out the logos on the bottom. So there's a ton of different like pre-made social media graphics in here already that are already kind of KW branded. There's some thank you cards, if you wanted to just print some nice thank you cards. But here, under lead generation and then client love. This right here is what we're gonna talk about, this is the kids activity book. So I just kind of hover over it and then click use. So what you wanna do is right here where it says note, please be sure to replace the placeholder, text footage, and then delete it after you do, so you're gonna wanna delete this green box, anything in here, you're gonna wanna delete once you're done. But then you're just gonna click into this and you're gonna swap it out with your information. Your logo, if that's what you wanna do, you're gonna swap out this for the KW Commonwealth logo. And then you're gonna just make sure you do that on all of these pages, so see how this, Royals, and this information is on the bottom of this page. You're just gonna swap it out, but then this becomes like a kid's activity book. So you could print these out and take these to open houses, bundle up like 3 or 4 crayons, tie it with a ribbon. Give them some crayons and an activity book, let them color while mom and dad look through the open house. I would do crayons, not markers, just so we know, I'm not suggesting we do that. But there's word searches in here, there's connect the dots, there's just like coloring pages for the younger kids. And if we do this right and we swap out all of our information on the bottom, when they finish this beautiful our home picture and mom and dad go put it on the fridge, your information is now on the fridge. If they don't already have it, right? So really cool thing that they will hopefully take with them at an open house and maybe even hold on to as their kids are coloring it and they're like, oh my god, it's so beautiful, Johnny, you did such a great job when we put it on the fridge. Now we've got our information everywhere, right? So this is super simple, super easy. The most expensive part about this is gonna be printing this out, it depends on how many you wanna print out. But there's all sorts of stuff, I do suggest on this back. Again, swapping out this information, but if you have some sort of like cover photo, banner image that you use all the time that's got all your information and your headshot and all that kind of stuff, put it on this page. So that it kind of like all wraps together, and then what I would do is you can staple it like a booklet, or you can just staple it in the top. And then open houses bring it to closing with you, they can draw it during closings, like there's a lot of things that you could do with this for kids who are occupied. So if you didn't know, we have a fun little coloring page in your command that you guys can use. So that's the detective. Any other questions about the design applet while I'm in here? What you can and can't do.
So the coloring book is just under, you go under designs.
So you're gonna go into, so to get here, I went to designs, create design and print.
Okay.
Just because I need to get in here into the library, and then from the library. You're gonna go to lead generation and client love,
Okay.
and then you're just gonna look for house hunting with Riley.
So are there YouTube videos that you can watch that mostly these things?
I don't know, but I can make you a video if you want to. Yeah. But there's a lot in here, if you guys haven't been in here, there is a ton, if you guys have reviews from your Google, this is a great place to put those reviews on your social media. There's nice branded backgrounds, invitation, there's marketing expert graphics, you just go to Flex, pull your hot sheet, put the information on, post it, some awesome social media graphics, if you are like, what do I post on social media? Here's 5 money saving home improvement projects, build your own backyard utopia, perfect planners to show off the property, blaze a new trail with custom walkway, so there's a ton of stuff in here for social media posts and all that kind of stuff.
I'm not convinced that it's the right video, but if you go next to that chat GPT. Under your screen there. And click on the bell. They did, or on mine they have a video. Of the there you go, I don't know if that's the one that you were talking about or not.
No, these are all, so We Brand is
Okay,
this, We Brand is, we're moving from We Brand to Canva,
okay.
is what We Brand is. Yeah. So there's a lot of hidden treasures in here, if you've never been in here and you're wondering what's posted on social media, there's a lot of already designed stuff in here for that. So just make sure that whatever you pick out of here, you change the logo. Almost everything on here is gonna have a KWDBA name logo on it. That is not our logo. Per Kentucky guidelines, you're gonna need a KW Commonwealth logo on there, so just make sure you swap that out. If you don't have the KW Commonwealth logo saved on your stuff, you can get it on our website, so just make sure you go to our website and get the Commonwealth logos. Okay. That's my tech tip, hope that was helpful. We've got. Our June calendar is out. I did make a mistake on the June calendar, business coaching doesn't start until. The 11th? The 11th
Yeah.
is when business, so all of the orange before this is ignore it. But we've got some awesome classes on next month, Tara and I are gonna do safe search, auto prospecting and showing time. Next week, we've got Eli and Brian in for a commercial class, Tyler Edwards gonna do another options class. We're gonna do a time blocking, we've got Bulletproof Your Database, MREA Book Club is meeting every Thursday, you can see their page numbers that they're gonna cover and the topics on the training calendar, so. And then office will be closed on Thursday for Juneteenth. Canva workshop with Miss Hallie tomorrow, so if you're excited about Canva coming in and the partnership with KW, come to our Canva class.
And bring
tomorrow.
your laptop, because the whole thing is that I'm going to show you how to do it. So that you can build your brand kit, all the things like that, so you can do it along with me, not just watch me do it.
Kind of get ahead of that in the so commercial real estate, I already talked about this, sorry. All things commercial real estate with Brian and Eli, Wednesday, June 11th at 1 o'clock.
This was really popular in the fall when we did this for the first time. There was a lot of people here just kind of asking questions about it. So it's a very casual thing, how they have it set up. I mean, they just sat over there and just let everybody talk and ask questions. But it's a big deal that they're coming back, that they want to do it, so you know, it sometimes can be hard to get them in the market center. And so they said, yeah, we'll do it again eventually. And I'm like, okay, how about now? And so they're gonna come, so make sure if you're interested at all in commercial, that you come and sit in on that.
If you, I mean, even if you're not interested in commercial, I still think it's a good class to come in and just kind of absorb whatever knowledge they're gonna give. Because you may be a real residential agent and you may have an opportunity of a commercial deal fall in your lap.
And so, like,
So.
They also, like, their team Excel was #1 in pretty much every category at awards this
Yeah.
past year. So like they know how to do business, so you're gonna learn some stuff.
And it's a completely different animal.
Yes, commercial is very overwhelming, it's a different thing, and so just take all the wisdom you can
They
get.
call it the wild ball west.
Yeah.
Commercial people do.
Yeah.
They can just do anything they want. So-
During career nights, when I talk about the commercial real estate, I say it's its own beast of real estate. So, yeah, so come do that. MRA book club, I pointed out on the training calendar. You will see the page numbers and the category that they are covering on the training calendar moving forward. Please join them, even if you haven't read the pages that they're gonna talk about and you are available, still come, they're gonna talk about all the topics. And kind of dive into our red book.
Oh my god,
Alright.
I can't wait.
We are excited about this, how they want this. Okay, so we're trying to figure out what we were gonna do for team meeting today. And thank you, ChatGPT. We're gonna go up with horror hotlines, your worst real estate experiences, stories. We asked you guys to submit your best worst stories. We are gonna vote on one at the end of this, pick the worst one, and we're gonna give them a
The
prize.
best, worst, that's the thing, like, is it voting for the best or is it voting for the absolute?
But you haven't even decided it, so you decide when you vote of how you're voting.
And they're crazy guys, like, I swear, we asked and we received. Like, I did not know y'all are carrying this much possible trauma. I'm so sorry, we don't take some therapy, but you might need it. It's like, okay, alright.
First one.
Do you agree?
Sure, I'll read it. Show up to host an open house and a deer was dead. Caught on the fence and right outside the living room picture windows. Had to have it there the whole open and finally the fix was we would get someone to toss it down the hill.
That's great.
And mind you, these are all people from the office, they're anonymous, but like, These are people you know and that you see. So maybe you're wondering,
I feel like they get worse from here, but I'll let you know.
I try to organize it.
Do you want to do this one?
Okay. I was finishing a virtual tour, taking video to send later of a property in a remote area with very little or no service. As I was getting in my car to leave, I hear blood-curdling screams repeatedly. The only way out was towards the screams. I dialed 911 but had no service, so I got my gun and slowly started down the road. I came upon a woman running around her deck. I stopped and got out and tried to calm her down, figure out what was wrong. Her dog had gotten into her pig pen under the porch and was attacking a pig. She climbed in and got the pit bull and then asked me to pull the blood-covered dog out.
Can you imagine thinking like somebody is dying, like somebody's being murdered, right? Okay, I had an out of state buyer who sent an ID, we spoke on video chat, etc., and showed proof of funds, which I now know was AI. We put $1 million property under contract on a 3% commission, he ordered an inspection and planned to drive in that day to be there for it. Inspector came out, $1,400 inspection. Buyer never showed up and ghosted us after the inspection was complete. Long story short, after finding and speaking to his landlord, who turned out to be his brother-in-law, he was $500 a month disability for a brain injury, has been in jail multiple times for fraud and extortion, and the seller had already packed up the 7-bedroom home and moved out with a broken leg because all of this took place 4 days before closing. That's
Wow.
Oh, that's insane.
And that's where 4-1 comes in.
It was a beautiful open house day, sun shining and an immaculate property. People began to show up early and in decent numbers. An agent I knew arrived with help from the folks as he had recently had surgery. Very well respected man, well known in many years of the business. He went down to the front yard, not so much fell as sat, with help to catch his breath, and couldn't quite recover. Ultimately, I called an ambulance. Unfortunately, he didn't make it. God rest his soul. I'm not sure you'll really want to share this one. It's very sad.
You ever have somebody die at an open house? Then it was a great open house.
And I did speak to this person on the phone yesterday, ironically, and they shared that like the wife of the man was like begging her or them, I'm not gonna give out who it was, begging them not to call the ambulance. And so as the realtor hosting, she's like, well, I'm not gonna get in trouble for not calling. Like, what if he dies? And sure enough. Very crazy situation.
Some of these, the storytelling, I'm impressed. Once upon a time in rural Scott County, a friend thankfully, and I heard a strange thud when we were in the basement of a vacant home that needed a lot of work. We wondered if a branch fell on the roof. We walked out to leave, my car was gone. I panicked, wondering who just nabbed my car from the middle of nowhere and started to call the police. Then I noticed tracks looking over the hill and started to follow them, pinging up the phone. At the bottom of the hill, smashed into a grove of trees, sat my pretty little Ford Fusion. Stick shift totaled. I still can't figure it out. I will swear to this day that I set the brake and it was in gear. Client offered me a ride to the house. I say yes and he's trying to keep a straight face. We pulled up to my house and my husband on the porch laughs and asks if I'm bringing work home now. That's the story of how I got my first truck.
Here's on my way to KW for a meeting last July. About a block away from the office, I noticed my car's thermostat was beyond hot. As I drove into the parking lot and was seeking a spot away from everyone else, I came to a stop at a parking slot. As I did, about 10 seconds later, there was an explosion louder than a cannon shot, and then you could no longer see me or the car for about 60 seconds as a large cloud bigger than an atom bomb bellowed in the parking lot. I slumped down in the seat, trying not to be seen, but as I looked to my left, I could see a fellow looking at me in absolute horror. I did get the car started again and slunk slowly out of the parking lot across the street, behind some buildings. Needless to say, I did not make the meeting and the car is no longer around. What? This happened in our parking lot.
Whose car blew up?
I know, July, did we notice a car blew up in the parking lot?
What's up, me?
It wasn't very easy.
Okay, so I arrived at this house for a showing and I noticed a car parked out front that suddenly decides to creep away like it's in a spy movie. I thought maybe they were just checking Google Maps for the 100th time. My client shows up, we tour the place and everything's going smoothly. So we open the front door to leave. Standing there like a pair of ominous fortune tellers or two young folks who immediately hit us with, hey, did you just buy this house? I explained I'm a realtor, assuming they're here for a showing too, but nope, the woman drops a bomb, don't buy it, someone died in here, by suicide. My client and I exchanged the kind of glance that says, well, this took a turn. Thankfully, my buyer had already decided the house wasn't for her, phew. So I managed to keep my professional cool. I asked if they lived nearby, maybe concerned neighbors. Nope, just walking by. Sure, because nothing says casual stroll like warning strangers at a house about a house's dark past. And then plot twist, the mysterious car I saw earlier, it vanishes as soon as we leave. Coincident or a plot? God knows. Thankfully, my client got another house and she's now happily under contract.
This one is actually insane. Prayers for the person who submitted this. Okay, this is definitely going to be TMI, but once I drove with the client all the way down to Harrodsburg to show a property. On the map and in the photos of the outside, it looked like a sweet little property. When we arrived, we were happy to find a lovely country setting. The birds were chirping, the flowers were beautiful, the lawn was nicely mowed, and it looked like the perfect little place for my buyer. A tenant was there, but he didn't mind and welcomed us to come in and look around. It was a typical bachelor pad for the older gentleman, big screen television with some sportsman show playing, microwave running with his lunch cooking, etc. The inside was much less flowery than the outside, but overall it was pretty decent. The horror story started when we walked down the hall to the primary bedroom and bathroom. We started to see hundreds of large liquid-filled plastic bottles on all the shelves, tables, and dressers in the bedroom. They were everywhere and displayed almost like trophies. And then when we rounded the corner to the bathroom, and we realized what was in them. There were 20 or 30 more bottles on the windowsills and on the floor beside the toilet. Again, TMI, but apparently the yellow liquid was an old dude's urine. We tried to stay calm and thank the guy, but we hightailed out of there as fast as we could. I called the listing agent right for the feedback, and he was disgusted to say the least. Needless to say, we skipped lunch that day.
Could you imagine being that receiver of that call? Hey, I suggest for future showings, you remove the urine from the windowsill.
It's insane to me that it's one of those you'd almost have to leave it on the feedback so that the poor listing agent doesn't have to tell them.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Anybody else in here not submit a story that has a story? There it is.
I have one, but I don't know if it's appropriate.
Hold on, let's let her go. So it works, sure.
Mine's not appropriate, but I'm gonna tell you. Recently on Facebook, I heard that he victimized another patient. One Sunday morning, I got a text from a guy, gave me his name. He said he was moving here from California in a couple of weeks because he was starting a new job, and him and his wife wanted to do a Zoom call with me to talk about, him buying property, buying a house here. I mean, it's pleasant enough. It's unusual to get something that early on Sunday morning, and he wanted to talk to me like soon. And I said, well, I can't until this afternoon, so I, scheduled the call with him. Pleasantries back and forth, and he reminded me that he was in California, a different time zone, and that, needed to take that into consideration when I scheduled. Well, so the time of the call came, and I got on the Zoom call, and it was really strange. It was a dark skinned gentleman, and he had on a toboggan. He's in California, all right, had on a toboggan and a big down coat like he was in Alaska. And I'm going, strange that your weather's so cool that you're dressed that way. And he said, well, we had some real cool weather. We chit chatted about weather. And the whole time he was telling me, I can't really hear you. You need to do your screen down, camera. And so I'm starting to get a little bit. We asked him, well, is your wife going to join us? And he said, well, she had to run out to the car and get something for the baby. And it's just. And so I'm getting a little skeptical about what's going on here. And I did do the forewarn, looked up his number, but it was, it said that they were possibly deceased. And, I didn't really think that much about it, that there was no record of this person being attached to the number, because he did give me his name and he gave me an email address. That's how I sent him the Zoom link. So we're having this conversation, he's acting really strange, and all of a sudden I see something going on down the bottom of the screen. And immediately I got off the call and, you know, and deleted him and everything, and he called me as soon as I hung up on the Zoom call and said some inappropriate things. And I mean, it made me feel very weird for a long time because, I mean, he gave me information about your company in the legitimate construction company and stuff, so I'm wondering, does he live here, does he work here, does he know me, why did he pick me? And then I read this, that he's done it, he's been doing it, to other people.
Wow.
Is this likely? Yeah, this is just a couple months ago. And so,
Wow.
anyway, I didn't submit it because I didn't have time to, but, yeah, so if you all get us. Anytime that a client wants to, that you don't know, that you've not solicited. Of that lead that wants to do a Zoom call with you, it's not. They won't do that. That's very unusual, and it just felt wrong, but, you know, he was answering all the questions and he obviously knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
Ugh.
Very gross.
Mike?
So mine was, when I was in Richmond, I worked at the Coldwell Banker office. And our broker was just a horrible person. I mean, I could go on and on, but she really.
We are questioning.
Okay. It's Nancy Robertson, sorry. No, anyway, so anyway, Nancy was always pounding us about, you know, doing things like wrong at open houses and that sort of thing. So we had this tour of homes. And so it was a kind of a, she got in the car and she did the lead and she did this and she walked us all in and she had given us all these lectures about all of this stuff like that other agents in the office had done wrong at them. And so we go to the house and we're standing in front of the house. So she lets us in. So there's like 20 of us walking in this tiny little house with these tiny little rooms. And so we go in and there's a girl sitting on the couch as you walked in. And so we're like, okay, this, you know, but anyway, so she tells us to go on with the tour. And we walk in the room and there's this couple. We all assumed they set this up. There was a couple on the bed just literally going at it. And we walked in and it was so awkward because when we all walked in, the room was so small that everybody just like started going around the bed. So you know what I mean? Like it was the only place to stand, so. It was just really weird, the
I would agree, that's really weird.
Yeah, they wanted that to happen,
yeah, that's what we decided. But it was funny because it made Nancy look stupid, so.
Oh. Wow. Okay, do we wanna vote on worst story?
Is there any other work stories to share?
What do we think the worst story is?
I mean, I think Mike takes it now. I'll vote for Mike.
Yeah.
I mean, that is pretty
Pretty good.
wild. I kind of want to make sure we don't have any others popped up. What are you doing?
Oh, well, I'm just verifying.
Okay, hold on, well, do you wanna look on your phone and we'll watch this video like this time? Okay. I found a video, we're gonna watch it really quick.
Reason that's in real estate and design. Literally, it's for medium realty to work with fast and fast technologies. Together, Canva will reimagine real estate marketing. Complexion enterprise relationship with Keller Williams, bringing you the world's best tools to make design scale endless.
Created by, say, creating high impact content faster and easier than ever.
We're looking at this study experience for Kevin Williams, because their market center agents really good, but you just design driven platform that power B2B command, and insight B2B agents, looking on edge technology, built agents for our agents.
We're building an intuitive PowerPoint experience, making it easier than ever for agents to create beautiful, effective content about switching platforms for missing a beat.
We know design isn't just about how things look, it's about how they look. When in Canada, you're controlling your brand, whether it's a video, whether it's a postcard or a listing video. Every agent has the power to stand out with confidence.
We're inspired to work with a company that cares deeply about people. It's part of our culture too.
From the best way
To the final post
together,
we're making design and marketing
faster, easier, and 100% outwards. Marketing CRM.
So. That's it. I mean, I guess all of you wanna see if you can find it.
I mean, I can, it probably isn't, but. In case anybody did last minute share.
Anybody have any questions for any of us while we're here? It doesn't have to be really anything either. Anybody have any questions, comments, concerns?
So and I should probably know this, but I don't, what is the forewarn?
That's actually a great question.
Was that an advertisement for forewarn?
It's an ad.
It's an app on your phone and you can put somebody's phone number in it and it'll tell you if they have been arrested or if they have any kind of criminal.
She's like, get me out.
Okay. It's part of your bluegrass dues, so they pay for your membership.
Yeah,
So it should be great.
Get that all you have to do, sign up.
Okay. Just don't look up a bunch of them or it'll lock you out. Like,
Oh,
don't ask.
Yeah, they
how
don't
I
want
know.
you to use it for.
Oh.
That's actually a good question. I didn't know that.
think you were.
I didn't know that was part of your board membership.
It's relatively new.
They are.
I've had it for a long time. Broker.
Yeah, I know.
I had to have it.
What you're doing, right? And you really brought the attention. Cause Trisha, we was like. I'm begging for this. It's really cool.
Nice.
I wonder if Sheridan's got any more stuff.
Me Sheridan, do you have any horror stories for us?
Sheridan's look every day.
Nothing that I'm right off the top of my head.
Well, that's good. I take that as a good sign.
Their daughter, people are not very lucky.
Yeah, right.
I did wanna bring another thing up, I posted in the Commonwealth group. I think last week I shared a logo and branding guide or compliance guide. In the group, it should be in there, should be in the medias, if you click into media, the images should pop up. As you guys probably know, the KRDC rules and regulations on marketing and branding and logo and advertising is clear as mud. It makes about that much sense. There's no clear indication on what is allowed, what isn't allowed, it's really open to your interpretation of the very loose guideline that they give in the rules and regulations. I have tried to get clarity directly from KREC. I even reached out to somebody with the board to try and get clarity on what is allowed and isn't allowed, and everybody just sends me the like regulations right out of the paper. So we put together a logo and branding compliance guide for you guys. We cleared it through multiple Kentucky brokers, they all agreed on it. We had an Ohio and Indiana broker look at it, but it has been cleared through multiple Kentucky brokers, including our broker. Donald looked at it. Hopefully it adds some clarity to what needs a KW logo, what doesn't need a KW logo, and all of those things. It's a great reference guide if you're like, does this pop it in there? Essentially kind of what it boils down to, just so you guys know, it is talking about your services as a real estate agent in any way, shape, or form. Or talking about real estate in any way, shape, or form, it needs a KW Commonwealth logo on it. If it's just a picture of the kids out in the backyard and you don't say, call me today so we can help you find the best backyard for you, it doesn't need a KW logo on it. But if it again references your services or your profession or real estate in any way, shape, or form, it needs a KW logo. So just kind of that's out there, if you haven't seen it, go look at it, hopefully it provides some clarity for branding and marketing.
Where is it?
It's in our Commonwealth Associates only Facebook page.
She posted it on May 28th. I'm looking at it now.
Hopefully it helps if it brings more questions forward, like, okay, but what about this, or, okay, but now what about this? Please send those questions to me, because you're probably not the only one that has them. And if you have questions, I'm sure everybody else has questions, so we can get all of that sorted out and get you guys much clarity on the branding, client stuff as we possibly can. So I know there really hasn't been much, so hopefully this is something to help with that, so.
So I do have a quick question. So you know how you helped with the logo on the back of the car?
Mhm.
And my name is technically bigger than the little KW Commonwealth that we have on like the little roof part. Does that need to be taken off and fixed? Does that
No,
be an
just
issue?
based on our interpretation of the regulations. The only time that the logo size is called out is for the yard signs and billboards.
Okay.
Those are the only two things that it specifically calls out for a size requirement. As long as you have the logo on there, that is, you hit the compliance level requirement for it.
Okay.
So the size thing, based on what we've been able to interpret, is only a sign and a billboard thing. Everything else is, it just has to be on there. Has to be on there and legible is kind of what the size wise is, just has to be legible.
Yeah, I've always just played if it's something that's getting mailed out, sent out, like, that's important. If you're giving out somebody like a pin or something,
Yeah.
and there's only so much you can put on one of those. And really at that point, it just turns down to, somebody's gonna turn you in over a pin that you're getting some money. But I think it's more so in like any type of solicitation, sign, billboard, mailer, postcard, that's definitely important.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not saying just leave it on,
But
but
keep the same KW Commonwealth.
I think it'd be,
Yeah,
it does say that, right?
yeah, so.
But like in my statement, when I sign my letter, I just put take Realtor KW Commonwealth.
I
I don't
think,
wanna put a logo.
no, I think you're okay in that sense. I think if we're talking like a cover letter for your Facebook business page, it needs to be the KW Commonwealth logo. So I've seen that,
When you're trying to draw a logo,
no, on
serious hardware.
that kind of stuff, I think you're fine. I think if you wanted to like CYA just a little bit more, I would type out Keller Williams and not just KW. But that's also, I mean, Donna, what would you?
Yeah, I agree, it needs to be the whole
Yeah,
name.
That's the whole point of those golden letters, though, is that it doesn't look business.
Yeah.
yeah, and I mean, I think it's. Yeah, I think you have to,
It's a fun.
you have to weigh it. I think it's kind of in that same lines of, like, when you're sending out postcards to farming neighborhoods. Putting on a little disclaimer that like this is in no way a solicitation if you are currently in an exclusive seller thing.
Yeah.
Like I've started adding those to my mom's postcards, cause I don't want somebody getting it and be like, look, she wants me to come list with her instead of you.
Yeah.
So I think it's just, from what I know, there is no requirement to do that, but it's just kind of like a. So I mean, I personally, and I'm not a broker, so I would take this with a grain of salt, but I think KW Commonwealth is sufficient. If you wanted to maybe go by the letter of the law, then I would write out Keller Williams, maybe write out Keller Williams and see what it looks like, and if you feel like that tips it into business or
Yeah.
to then bring it back to KW. I don't know. But I do think technically it would need to be spelled out Keller Williams.
Sad thing is, you never know until somebody makes a
Yeah.
complaint on you and it goes before KREC.
Yeah,
Then they'll give you an answer.
yeah,
It's unless you have a real estate license or you're, you don't know. I mean, a
Yeah.
homeowner is not gonna know.
Yeah.
yeah. So,
And when they show it to their, to another.
But that's what I'm
agent,
saying.
and the agent tells them they need to complain with that happen.
Person, yeah.
yeah, so, I mean, the marketing and branding is murky. I wish that we had more clarity from the people who make the decisions on complaints. But unfortunately, we are where we're at, so just be cautious of it, especially on social media. If you are creating. If your cover photo of your real estate page has your contact information on it, it has to have a Keller Williams Commonwealth logo on it. Okay, so anything that has your contact information, you say, you know, call me today for real estate, anything that's speaking towards your profession or contact has to have a KW Commonwealth logo on it. And if we're talking something visual like cover photo, don't type out KW Commonwealth, I've seen that happen quite a bit, and I don't know if it's because people don't know where to find the Commonwealth logo. Or what, but leave the KW Commonwealth logo on those type of things, on letters, I do think it's a different conversation, so, again, if you don't know where to find the KW Commonwealth logos, let me know, they're on our website, they're super easy to find. I also shared in the Commonwealth group last week as well, a Google Drive folder full of realtor and equal housing logos. There's 4 different colors, I just found as many colors as I could, that have the transparent background on them, so that you guys can put the, realtor and equal housing stuff on, things should be with that as well, so. That's it. That's all I got for you guys, unless you need anything else. Thanks for coming. Everybody will be back next week.